And here you go.
Good morning. Good morning. Come on in, everybody. Great to see you this morning. Very good. Very good. I hope everyone's morning is off to a great start. We're going to jump right into this thing. My name, if you don't know me already, is Eric Boyette. I'm an integrated national director, and I've been coaching for about 3.5 years. Today, as in each day of the series, we're going to start with gratitude. Now, I have loved these morning calls, and I'm so grateful to have them available and to be part of them. So what I'd love from you guys, as usual, is a little bit in the chat about what you're grateful for today. Go ahead and start loading them up in there, and I'll start you guys off. I am grateful for my health. And it's a thing we say, but really get into that. I can breathe with no pain. I can walk. All my limbs are working. My eyes can see. I can hear. I have the freedom to be on this call. I have a warm house on this cool morning. I have nutritious fuel for my body when I need it. One thing that helps us get in touch with gratitude is taking the time to be still. So today I'm going to talk about the other side of what we've been hearing, which is let's fire it up. Let's get it going. Let's win the day. All of these ideas are very important, but it's also important to have some time where you are in stillness each day, even if it's just for a few minutes. This is when we access our creativity. We allow our higher thoughts to help us with problems. During these times of stillness, we increase our wonder, our inspiration, our judgment. We come up with new ideas. We resist groupthink, and we sharpen our perspectives. So it's something we all want to learn to insert in our lives. In today's day and age, it's something that we have to be intentional about. There is no time of the day when we will be given stillness. Okay, we have to make room for it. So today I want to talk about why stillness is important and provide some ideas for finding it in your life. I came across this in a book that I found helpful. You guys might want to check out. It's called Stillness is the Key. It's by Ryan Holiday. I love this guy. I recommend really any of his books. Mainly he explores philosophies of the Stoics. And you'll recognize some of our own business philosophies and the tenets of transformational leadership within a lot of his titles. He has Obstacle is the Way, Ego is the Enemy. These things are all right in line with our own Hot Six, which we ran out of, by the way. So I had to come up with my own thing to talk about today, which is stillness. How we're going to find stillness so that we can reach these places of clarity and steadiness inside of ourselves. Now, stillness is that quiet moment when inspiration hits you. It's that ability to step back and reflect. It's where we find room for gratitude and happiness too, which I think is why it really ties in here. It's one of the most powerful forces on earth. As Blaise Pascal, hopefully I said this guy's name right, he said, all of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. And I agree with him. I mean, this is where stillness is seen as important, an important skill to develop. It's not just doing it to be doing it. Make no mistake that stillness makes you a better person and a better coach. Now, in the book, Stillness is the Key, Ryan talks about the Cuban Missile Crisis and how stillness is helpful in a real way as we make decisions. You guys probably know about the 13-day standoff in October of 1962, where JFK found himself faced with nuclear missiles being installed in Cuba by the Soviet Union. His advisors urged him to take swift and forceful motion, to attack. They pressed him to make decisions based on emotion. And there was a lot of emotion running around. There was reason to be scared. Had he taken that knee-jerk reaction, it's difficult to know really what our world would look like today or how many of us would even be here. JFK, instead of making snap judgments, he opted to lean on stillness. And during the standoff, he spent a lot of time in the Rose Garden, thinking, planning, considering the situation despite the immeasurable stress of the crisis. By not escalating us into war and choosing to use a blockade and patience, it's widely agreed that he helped us avoid nuclear devastation. I loved reading about this because I immediately recognize, and hopefully you guys do too, the practice of stillness is basically one of Dr. A's recommendations. You guys ever heard of stop, challenge, and choose? Well, stillness is all about stopping, which allows us to challenge and choose what serves us and what serves the situation. If there's anything that coaching has taught me, it's that we have the ability to be intentional. That allows us to bring our mind and our thoughts to bear on extremely tough problems and tough situations, okay? We are built for that. But the problem is, in this day, we have obstacles to stillness. We have car horns and notifications, headphones, machinery, traffic, children. The news with its narrative of crisis after crisis finds us everywhere. Emails bombard us, requests and obligations pour in. Most of us are completely overstimulated, overscheduled, overwhelmed. So how does anyone find time to think, to do meaningful work, to detach and relax? Well, that's what we're going to get into today. There's a few ways to achieve stillness in your life. One of the biggest ways is to empty your mind of distractions. Some of the speakers in this series have talked about the miracle morning, and I believe those of you that have read that may be familiar with morning pages. This is one of the ideas the book puts forth, at least I think it's in that book. I haven't read that one in particular, but I heard mention of it in relation to miracle mornings. I know it's in a lot of other books. Morning pages is just the idea of writing down a stream of consciousness for about 3 pages or whatever time you have time for. Write it out, trap your worries and preoccupation there, then throw out that paper, free of internal distraction. Another way to achieve this emptying of the mind is through meditation. Simple one to try for meditation, if you're new to that, is just scanning your body, thinking intently about your parts from head to toe. How does your head feel? I don't have hair, so my head's pretty cold. How is your face? And so forth. Be sure to concentrate, especially as you get down into your body, concentrate on your breathing and your body as well. The idea is to think only of your presence. No concerns about the future or the past in these still moments. The exercise is important because you can't be resentful, disappointed, angry, sad, or hurt when you're not considering the past or future. Just be present, because we all know what those feelings do for us. They derail us big time. So instead, we want to work to empty our mind and be present in stillness. Other ways of finding stillness could be as simple as just appreciating the beauty of a moment or a place, focusing on the satisfaction of the job at hand rather than the outcome. In other words, focusing on that which we control and not being put off by that is outside of our control. Another helpful way of creating stillness is to move the body. Walking is a great way to achieve stillness. Now wait, some of you guys are giving me a funny look now, I'm sure. How can we be still when we're walking? Well, when we talk about stillness, we're not talking, we are talking about the mind, not necessarily the body. So some obvious examples might be forms of exercise. If you're able to focus on the exercise and not be all up in your distractions in the process, that's great. Music or calming music can be helpful to this, calming sounds rather. Just be sure they're not distracting. If you like to mix in some productivity with your body movement, consider raking, mowing, painting, gardening, laying bricks, chopping firewood. Think of nothing other than the task at hand. Focus on the next step, the next breath, the next swing of the axe or stroke of the brush. Whatever the activity, put it on your calendar and schedule your work around it. Another road to stillness is to satisfy the spirit. The feeling of never having enough is destructive. Anyone else ever deal with that? No? Just me? Well, that's okay. I can tell this one to myself and maybe that one other person out there who feels sometimes that they are not enough. Because here's the truth. We will never feel better due to external accomplishments or things. One of the keys to spiritual fulfillment is recognizing that we are enough. You are enough. And living in gratitude with who we are and what we have is how we become happy with that. If you want to focus maybe on impact, look at what you guys have accomplished in your life. Look at what you've helped others to accomplish. Any coach, which means anybody on this call, can truly say that you've made a difference in someone's life, even if it's your own, just your own. As for the things that I want, I mean, have you ever thought about the things that we take for granted that were beyond the wildest dreams of people in the past when it comes to, being in abundance? It's funny how we get all twisted over the Joneses' new house or TV when generally we can get anything we want at the store. We can eat food from all over the world. We can have it prepared and delivered. We can access any type of entertainment on demand, movies, songs, read any book. We control our home's temperature. We have soft beds. We have access to medical care, indoor plumbing, you name it. I'm serious about this. By any measure, whether you're just getting by or if you are abundantly wealthy, to someone just 100 years ago, rich or poor, you are living like a king or a queen. We fall short in our satisfaction, not because of lack of things, as we do have plenty, but through comparison and feelings of not enough. This is illustrated really well in a poem that I probably can't pronounce, Desiderata, if I'm getting that right, by Max Ehrmann. This is a little quote from in there. He says, "If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain and bitter, for always there will be a greater or lesser person than yourself." Now, I want to be clear, none of this is to take away from ambition. Ambition drives us. Many speakers have talked about our why, and that is so important. But we often conflate these ideas, and we think ambition is in opposition to satisfaction. One can be endlessly ambitious without feeling their present condition is not enough. Okay, we are ambitious to reach our maximum potential. We are ambitious to reach a goal and set new ones. But we can be content with ourselves right now and grateful for what we have achieved, and where we are in this moment, today, right now. Stillness helps us to get in touch with this feeling of abundance, and it will help us achieve more presence, clarity, and insight. Now, all of these exercises and ways of thinking are meant to show us how much more productive, healthy in mind, and less stressed we can be when we focus on the task at hand. Because stillness is about that too, just focusing on what we're doing in the moment. I love this mantra: do what you're doing while you're doing it. Don't do what you're not doing while you're not doing it. Doesn't that sound like something Jamil would say? I just love it. It just means to be present in all that you do. After all, while talking about multitasking, humans are terrible at that. It's true we can switch from one task to another quickly, and we can certainly achieve a feeling of busy, which is a close friend of overwhelmed. But the truth is we're better when we focus on one thing at a time with intention. If it's time to work, work. If it's time to send out messages, do just that. If it's time to cook dinner, focus on that. If it's time to be with your children, your spouse, or even just yourself, do that and only that. Be in the moment and do what you're doing while you're doing it, nothing else. So here's my challenge for you today. I want you to take 5 minutes, more if you like, use it to still your mind, move your body, and satisfy your spirit today. Secondly, schedule and make room for this daily. Whether it be 15 minutes or a few hours, you will find this well worth the investment of time for your well-being. And if you're looking at me right now and you're watching your clock and you're wondering, what did that bald guy just say? That's okay, but you weren't present for this. Find the recording, watch it again, and be present. And be present in all the conversations and everything that you do today. You guys have a great, blessed day. So grateful to be with you, and I hope you guys have an awesome one.